What's up, everybody? Matt Outdoorsman. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a good minute since I've made a live. Probably about 2 years since I actually gone live on YouTube here. Um, Reason being, I just been busy. I have a 2-year-old daughter. All right, so there you go. That probably explains it right there, right? Um, the reason why I wanted to come up on here today was because I just learned about the passing of John Davis of Prepper Nation. And just found out today. Uh, Sadly, John passed away last month. I haven't been on YouTube much between my work life and home life and some other things I got going on the side. So this is kind of like an impromptu video where I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have a lot of rust to shake off of here. It's been a long time. Again, it's been a long time since I've gone live. I usually have notes prepared. But hey, listen, enough about me. I just got done watching The Shady Zone, and he did an awesome tribute to John. And I don't know you personally, Shady. I know we've chatted here and there in the past, but I just want to tell you, boss, that was a good video. All right, some of the folks you had up on there, to me, they're familiar faces. All right, I know who they are. I've seen them in the chat. I'm a fellow Beaverine. Um, and I just want to piggyback on a few things that I saw in your video, in your tribute, Shady. John is the whole reason why I got into prepping as well. All right. I'm going to try not to get choked up here. And it's very, very hard for me to get choked up. I'm not the type of person. But when I did find out that news, I went upstairs and told my fiance. And yeah, I was a little choked up. I ain't going to lie. But anyway, yeah, John was the reason why I got into prepping too. He was one of the first. Prepper Nation was one of the first channels that I came across when um, I got into prepping. He had a lot of good information, um, tips, advice, and I got to, like many of you guys, I got to know John on a personal level too. Now I didn't meet the man in person, but he's the one that inspired me to get into podcasting. He's had me up on his panels in the past. Um, he's plugged my channel like many of you folks. He was a one of a kind guy, and like many of you all, I tuned in every morning for the latest episode of Prepper Nation, and it was like sitting there like he could have been in the same room with me. That's just the kind of down to earth fella he was. Um, and another thing, Shady, that you brought up, and I saw a couple of your other guests that you had on. They brought up the same thing. Um, I went out and I found God too. You know, in my later life. This past year and a half, I became a confirmed Catholic and began going to church on a regular basis. I pray every day. That's how I start my days. I wake up every morning and I thank the Lord for another day. And I know John was a man of God. He'd end every broadcast he ended. He would say, "God bless." Um, I don't think that man has realized the lives that he touched. You know, the people that he brought together. I remember going into the chats and putting in my 2 cents and making my comments, and it was just like a big family, the Beaverine family, right? And I met some pretty awesome people because of John. Backwoods brother, if you're listening, man, it's been a minute. He's another one that I was inspired by. I met him because of John. I saw him in the chats, and we ended up hooking up and getting on panels together. A couple other creators out there too. So again, I mean, excuse me, it's been a couple years since I made a live. This is just kind of like off the top of my head stuff, so forgive me if I have a hard time finding words here. And it's very important to not be sad about this, and you're right. I don't think John wants to be looking down right now and seeing everybody sad. But Shady, you hit it right on the head when you said, listen, we're not sad. The reason why we're sad is because we miss you. And, that's a true story right there. We miss you, brother. We miss the videos. I didn't realize how sick you were. I know Mr. Dynamite came up on. He had some words, and he mentioned that he knew John on a personal level and talked to him on a regular. A lot of us didn't. John was a very private man. Came down to it. I knew he was battling cancer. I just didn't realize how bad it got. And I saw right before I came up on here. I looked at John's last video that he posted, and it was over 5 months ago. So. And before I even caught the notification of Shady Zone's video, I had a funny feeling in my gut that something was off. But whatever. I mean, if switching gears here, Mrs. Nation, if you happen to catch this video, I want you to know that, ma'am, your husband was something special, and I don't need to tell you that. He touched a lot of lives. He was an inspiration to many, and we're not going to let his memory die. Okay. If anything, we're going to carry it on in our own way. All right. I got him right here. All right. And I'm going to quote something that Shady said on his video. He was the best friend that I never met. And brother, that's a true story also, because I share that same sentiment. He was my best friend that I never met. I wish I had. I mean, again, I've been up on his panels. We sat in the green room. We shot the shit. Down to earth guy. I would hit him up on messages and ask him for tips and advice for my own channel. And thanks to him, I gained a couple hundred subscribers because I've been up on his podcast. I kind of shifted gears from YouTube to writing. So I do write articles on a regular basis on my Substack. About 5 days a week, I'll put up a different article every day. And I remember when I first got on Substack last year, I hit John up, and because John was a writer, so I hit him up for some tips and advice. And he not only gave me tips and advice, but he offered, hey, listen, man, if you want to really get into it, if you want to get published, hit me up. I can give you some names and point you in the right direction. And then on top of that, he goes up on his show and he ends up plugging my Substack account. I mean, that's just the type of person John was. He didn't care how big or how little you were. You know, he treated everybody like family. Now, I believe that man would give the shirt off his own back to anybody. Yeah, I'm not going to be up on it for too much longer. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to John, the Beaverines. You're going to be missed, man. The world grew a little darker today. But I know you're up there and you're smiling, man. And, you know, someday I will get to meet you. We will sit down. We will have that coffee. We'll shoot the shit. Just like we used to. That's all I got. Thanks for watching.